What's up, guys? JJ Fade 23. I'm gonna do a quick review for today, even though I wasn't really in the right mind. Pretty much a little silly this morning from all the Benadryl to try to fall asleep with the amount of pain that I was in from throwing up. Like my body and stuff was in so much pain, my chest and my back and everything, whatever. But I'm gonna start with this swing. The reason why I took this swing, you guys. Same reason why I like these swings. Especially if there's a, well, let's do this. Now, obviously, I would have liked it better. I said this before too. If it didn't already come up to this upper trend line, because then you have the target. But this still had some. Either way, obviously if it had aimed for that target, it would have been better. But that being said, it was still had a nice move. It broke the most recent high, came back down, and that also held the 38% fib, which is at the same spot as here. But guys, look at this right here. Dumps, reclaim. This is a fake breakdown right here. Trigger, dump, reclaim, take it, boom. Now, obviously, you had these upper trend lines to go to. That would be much easier to say, hey, there's a trend line target. But it's a pretty simple setup that I love. It doesn't work all the time, but as you can see, look right here. Crossover, 2134, boom. It works a lot, especially if you get this kind of fake breakdown and reclaim of the levels. Trigger, then what? Look, strong move down, flag off the 8. Come back to the 21. Crossover, strong move up, flag off the 8. Flag off the 8. Flag off the 8. Come back to the 2134. This is like, it's been flagging off the 8. It's the first time back to the 2134. Usually bounces, right? That's just the way it goes. Not every time, but it works good. Look. Strong move down. Flag off the 8 right here. Quick flag off the 8. Comes back kind of to the 2134. Look. Crossover. Pull back to the 21. Boom. Pull back to the 34. It's just these moving averages work good. If you have the 50 on there, that works good too. But I mean, you don't really need more than the 8, 21. Look at me. I'm just, sorry, guys. I'm still a little loopy, but anyway. And then DLTR. DLTR was a little tricky because, this is actually something that I don't love. DLTR was in a squeeze. Here, watch this. I got stopped out of this, but you kind of knew one thing that I wasn't liking. See how this, you see this angle right here? You see how this is causing an ascending triangle almost like thing? I never like when my squeezes are making higher lows. I like when my squeezes are making low, squeezing either sideways or squeezing down a little bit. Kind of like this right here, making that flag pattern to the downside. You see this? You see this right here? This is how I like my squeezes to look. Because it's a flag pattern. This right here was not a flag pattern. It was in a hardcore squeeze, and but it was more of an ascending triangle. The only reason why I took this is because I saw it did the fake breakdown and reclaim right here. So I was like, ooh, that's not going to fake breakdown and reclaim and then fake breakout and dump, right? Well, guess not. Well, anything can happen, but I already was a little wary. I would never take this setup in the squeeze with the ascending triangle look unless it was a fake breakdown and reclaim. And they still fucked me, but whatever. I like my flags to be at the flag shape. Look, this is the shape of a flag. See that? This is the shape of a flag, so the flag pulls back at an angle like that. Both angles are looking like that. That's a flag. You see, it looks like a flag. United States flag, or whatever flag. But you get it. This isn't a flag. This is just a squeeze. But it wasn't in a squeeze that long. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. I jumped the gun. I took it on the squeeze before 5 dots. Number 1. Plus, it was going up again. The only reason why I took it is because it did the fake breakdown and reclaim. You don't really see this fake breakdown and reclaim, and then this fake breakout and dump that very often. So whatever, they got me there. Whatever, fucking 15% or 10%. I think it was like a 12% loss. Whatever, compared to an 80% win on friggin' GD, XJ, JX, whatever it is. Anyway, now off to the day one gappers. SNGX. Unfortunately, we couldn't get locates for this, most of us. Now look, the reason why obviously that level in pre-market was so good. I mean, it was right. Believe you had this pivot right here. I think it was like around $6. You had this pivot right here, but I think it was around $6 in the pre-market, and this pivot right here, $5.80 to $6. I believe the pre-market high was right around here, perfectly with those. Let's go look. Yeah, look at that, $5.80 to $6, right up to that trend line, close to that trend line, right at that pivot. So, I mean, that was right at that pivot, right there in the pre-market, multi-touch, ultimate low pivots, right? And it had, I believe, 89% gap stats. Now, the problem is we couldn't get any locates, obviously. And the other problem is, well, let's go mark off if we have any other levels first. This is the other thing, right? You have the gap close level right here. Well, not gap close, but you have gap close level right here. Not fill, close. Fill is when the gap is filled all the way to the closing price. But as far as pivots go, we have the gap open and the gap closed and another down pivot right here. But it didn't matter because this thing didn't even bounce like up to those by the open. And unless you got locates, right? Unless you got locates and hit it pre-market, look at this. I mean, it didn't even make it back to those pivots. Ultimately, look, it came up to 418, all right? Now, let me show you. First of all, as with all gap and craps, you can't short it. I mean, you can short it way down here if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend shorting below the 50% fib, especially if there's no daily level. So we would have wanted it to be at least back up to this pivot and the 50% fib, which would be, you know, I prefer the 61% fib. I'm just saying if you guys want to, you know, scale one or two bullets and use small size like some people like to do, I don't know. I personally would say, okay, there's no date. I mean, this isn't really this is a micro level right here, right, where it stopped. Kind of a micro level, like, just like, there's a multi-touch daily levels, but not the greatest levels. So that's a tough one. It's far off the pre-market high. You have a little multi-touch there. And that was at the 38% fib, which it didn't even make it to there. So, I mean, that's a tough one. What are you going to do? You're going to try to smash it right here after this big, huge drop, or wait for it to pop up to the high volume resistance level here and give you a max extension into here and then hit it. That's what you do. You know, it didn't bounce enough. It is what it is. Not that we could get locates anyway. I mean, the very minimum, guys, on any, you can't, shorting a bounce before the 38% fib is just how you get smoked in the long run. It is what it is. SVRE was another one with 100% gap stats that I couldn't get locates on. Now, this one was better, in my opinion, at the open because we saw the triggers. We had the levels marked out. It was great. I mean, this one had really clear level right here. We were talking about it in the pre-market. It had 244. It had this level at 221. And then you have another multi-touch level right here. See this? 268. I like this one better at the open because it stayed up and it, you know, so you have multiple levels there. Now look. Now, what are you doing? Where are your pivots? Now, you don't want to trade it at this pivot because that's not really good. Not a good enough extension if you try to short it right here on this little, it's going up on this little max extension. No, but look. Right here now you get a max extension, right? 18% and it even goes 22%. Over. Once it falls back under, you hit it. Boom. And then this time was even better because now it's below that 268 pivot and it gives you the fake breakout for the second time, right? Here is the real awesome trigger. Pops back up, fake breakout over this, still below the 268. Remember, guys, this is also why you see this, and also don't forget to put your fibs on. Didn't really come into play much, but you guys remember this. Whenever you look, sometimes it's good to go like this. Look, 268, all right? When you're looking like this, when you're looking at the charts, depending on how you guys have your charts, if you have your charts too smushed down and you can't see the pivots, like you don't remember when it's live action, there's a pivot right there, right? Let's just say this is live action right now. The stock's bouncing up. you're looking at a lot of stuff. You're looking at a lot of stocks moving. It's good to go like this, right on your chart, guys. Right on your chart. Right? You just write the next levels above, right on your chart, right next to you. So right in the pre-market, you do that. Right here. Right here. You blow that shit up big. Right? You put that stuff right here so you don't have to think when the stock's going up, right? And you can't see the next level. You can't see right here. There's a pivot at 268. But guess what? This stock just went up to 260. You know there's a pivot at 268 and it fake breakouts back below. Boom. Yep. This price action was damn crazy. After this dump and rip back up, there's no way I would think that would sell right back off immediately. But that's buck wild. But you still had a hell of a trade from here down to here. It wasn't really all-day fade criteria, was it? I forget what the stats were. And had a bunch of levels in the pre-market to bounce off of, but ended up being like next best cover end of the day. So didn't SNGX, I believe. But yeah, if you write these on here, they're big writing. You see them. Okay, you don't have to be able to see above your chart way up here that you can't see. You know? And then, so Saito was the next one. Sorry, guys, I'm still a little loopy. Saito I wasn't really that interested in. I don't think I could get locates anyway, but Saito was... I mean, look at this, guys. All of what I do is pretty much look at the daily chart and say, guys, I mean, does this look like a short to you? I'm sorry. You could tell me 100 times out of 100 times that you faded this stock. I mean, this looks like a short right here. Even maybe these, but this, look at this thing. This right here, this thing opened at 27 and it only has 20 cents down to $1. I mean, dude, I'll miss that 100 times out of 100 times. And people who chase that will get blown up 80% of the time eventually. It is what it is. I mean, this just doesn't get me excited. I don't care that. Now that's one way to think about it, right? So on the one hand, right, me thinking I don't like the range on the stock, it's right above $1, yada, yada, yada. Now, on the other hand, we can go like this, and you could trade like this if you want, guys. You could say, oh, I don't care what JJ says. I'm going to use JJ's system and trade however I want. So where's the next pivot? Pivot right here, 146, all right? You got to pivot at 146, and don't forget to mark your $half, just so you know, because you have that protection too. All right? So now, right? Okay, guys. It's setting up like a Gavin crap, right? Even if I don't want to trade it and you guys want to. So what are we doing? We want this to pop above the 61% fib. So it is what it is, right? It gets up to here, above the 61 fib, almost back to the daily pivots right there. I mean, you could take that with 10 cents risk. You know, you get a max extension. Look, instead of thinking like, oh, this is how you trade, right? Instead of thinking like, oh, look, that gave you a 22% max extension. Right here, it was only 16%, so that wasn't high enough. So once it gets to 20% and it's above the 61 fib and you have clear risk, then you can take it if you want. I mean, I don't really trade like that because it doesn't make me want to short it looking at the daily chart. But if you just stick to the rules no matter what, okay, is it up 40%? Yes. Oh, 50% we've been using more? Yes. Is it got decent gap stats? Yes. Okay, now do I have some clear levels to trade off? Yes. Did I get max extension into the level? Yes. Okay, then you can trade it if you want. You know, it is what it is. It's just, you know, if I had to pick like SVRE or SNGX or that, I'm not going to trade that. It's this cheap piece of crap. I mean, but it did give you a max extension. Didn't quite go to the 148 pivot. So you don't think it seems like a big deal when you're trading with 100 shares, right? 200 shares. But look, 140. But look at this, you guys. If you start shorting right here, like 140, right? That's 6% before the pivot. When you're talking about a tiny little stock, tiny price stock, that's a big difference, you guys. Doesn't sound like much, but 6% is 6%. So it didn't go up to the key level and stuff. It gave you a max extension over the 61 fib, but not into a key level and not to near the last place to the left it failed, which you start 6% early on all your stocks, that's not going to be very good for you in the long run. Unless you plan on banging out some 40% winners left and right. Like moi. So, in general, a cheapy piece of crap stock with a daily chart like this. Yeah, right here. That makes me want to short it. Look at it. Spits. Dude, that's the other thing. Look at this. Look at how many times this thing is spiked. Look at this. Look at this. It's known for spiking. It's known for spiking. It's known for spiking. It's known for spiking. And then all of a sudden you're just going to short it at the open like on this little baby fucking pike. I mean, when it's right up a no range ticker down here. I don't know, man. How often do you see these stocks stop at this very little first dinky pivot? They usually blow through. Now, I don't overthink my stocks because I want to trade triggers at key levels, but that's like, that just wasn't even at the key level yet, and it wasn't even at the friggin', it just was no range on that thing. Anyway, what else we got? I think that was pretty much it for the gappers. The other of them were Chinese crap. The rest of them. Vino. You can take a look. This is another one of those charts. It is damn crazy, like how much. I mean, guys, that's like this. This just might be, like, dude, look at this. Yes, it rejected the pivot. 2 pivots right here. Yes, but look at that chart. I mean, dude, does that make me want to short it? Yes, so what? It rejected the pivot. At least this one had a daily pivot right there. At least this one had a daily pivot, and it was like a multi-touch level from pre-market, and it gave you a real max extension into the friggin' pivot, 31%. I mean, at least that did that. And it was below $1. So when it's below $1 and it pops back over, it can come back under pretty easy. When it's holding above $1 by like $1.30, $1.40, like say for example, this was up here and then it comes back. I guess it's kind of the same thing. I don't know. These cheapies, I just don't love them, especially when the range is so small in the daily chart. I mean, look at this. Does this look like a short to you? Look. So what? It's one of those days that everything just tanked at the open, but in general, like this looks like a short right here. You short stocks because they're up a lot, right? You short stocks because they're up and they don't deserve to be up because they're shitty companies, yeah, which they all are, but still, like, I mean, dude, what was this thing like up? Like, I don't even know. What was that up? 30% or something? I mean, yeah, it popped and dumped. That happens sometimes. Look, probably fib life too. 61 fib on the daily. So funny how much that works though. It's crazy, really. Oh, that was the 50 fib. Sorry, my candle was in the way. That is nuts though, huh? 50, 61. And these two. It's crazy. So multi-touch pivot, 50, 61 fib, all in the same spot. Oops. And then if you have the intraday on, look. Links, come on. And if you have the intraday on, it almost made it back to the 50% fib. Multiple confluence level there with a max extension. So, I don't know, guys. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be back in the right state of mind because definitely a little loopy. Can't wait to be normal again, but I didn't want to totally skip the review and just because I think we could have had some good setups today, like if there was any locates, especially. Kind of sucks when there's no locates on the best setups, but yeah, we were definitely smashed SEVRE. I mean, SNGX just couldn't get locates when it was up at the highs and just didn't bounce enough at the open, but yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, love you guys. Bye bye.